I was having a very hard time getting my life started and trying to walk into this new version of myself that I have been, working on internally, but now I wanted to bring it out in the external. And, this includes like having a healthier lifestyle, going out and moving my body, making sure that I'm in tune with my body, and making sure that I'm eating whole foods and I'm eating my vegetables and I'm making sure that I'm staying hydrated. Maybe it's the fact that I want to wake up earlier. Maybe it's the fact that I want to go to sleep a little bit earlier in the day as well because I was getting super bored of waking up very late. I would wake up like at 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 12 p.m. And now I can wake up at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Sometimes 8 a.m., sometimes 7 a.m. It depends on my body and what my body wants to do for the day, how much energy I have at the start of the day. And it's definitely a small progress because you expect yourself, especially like if you're someone like me, if you know that you're ambitious, if you know that you can really reach your full potential and you really believe in yourself, then you start to want to push yourself a little harder, want to hustle, lock in, want to be able to like get up at 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning to go to the gym, to do yoga, to eat your breakfast, to study, to work on your passion projects, right? But you have to understand the rhythm of what your body and your nervous system is used to right now. And my nervous system and my body was used to waking up late and waking up at whatever time I wanted to, sleeping 13-hour days, waking up and immediately smoking or immediately looking at the screen. And even though I have stopped doom scrolling for sure, I still get on my iPad, on my phone, and go on YouTube and start. Um, I would think like I'm educating myself, I'm learning something new today, I'm trying to motivate myself, but you're just pulling yourself deeper into that procrastination because you think that you are actively doing something, but you're still not. And for years, I have struggled with this until I realized that the reason why I was procrastinating was because I kept worrying about the suffering that I was going to experience in the future. I kept worrying about the exhaustion, the burnout that was going to happen in the future. And because of that, I truly, truly believed that this was the case for me, that this was my reality. And I would convince myself through my feelings, through my thinking, through my actions. And therefore, that is what I would manifest into my reality subconsciously, unconsciously. I was not aware of this information. And there was just this random day where I was reading this book called, I think it's called Now Be Here or Be Here Now. This is what it looks like. And I was reading this book one day, and it doesn't have a page where it talks about what I'm talking about right now, but this book has the tendency to open up your mind and make you look at things in a whole different perspective, from a higher perspective. And it actually brought this download to me on this day, and I even wrote it down because it was like blowing me away that the reason why I kept procrastinating on my goals, the reason why I kept procrastinating on authentically embodying the life that I want for myself, authentically embodying the person I want to be, is because I was stressing about the future instead of living in the present, living in the now, in the here now, and focusing on the now right now. I know that's confusing. That's a very confusing sentence. But what I'm trying to explain is that even if, for example, you're getting up for the day, you're rising for the day, and you're just sitting on your bed thinking about what you're gonna do. Why? Technically, yes, we can plan out our day, right? We can plan out what we're gonna do for the week. But for what? If that just does not exist just yet. Let me explain that again. I was just thinking how even when we're here right now in this present moment, we like to think about what's going to happen 5 minutes from now, or 10 minutes from now, 30 minutes from now, to an hour from now, to 24 hours from now. And we like to plan what we're going to do for Thursday, what we're going to do for Saturday, and what we're going to do for Monday, right? But it made me realize, because for me, this kind of structure in my daily life just was not working anymore. um, I kept trying to plan my entire week so that it could align with the goals that I desired, and so that it could align to the life, to how I wanted my life to look like. But soon realized that things change. Every single day is different. Every single day looks different. And then there's some things that would intervene. There's some things that there was plans that were canceled. There's new plans that were into place. And then all my schedule that I had just made prior goes out the window because it just wasn't working for me anymore. I needed spontaneous to be spontaneous. I needed to be spontaneous in my life, and I needed to be disciplined as well. I needed both in my life in order to be able to achieve the things that I wanted to achieve and feel aligned at the same time. When I got this download, I realized, what the heck? Like, I'm always worried about what I'm gonna do later. And then I worry about, like, oh, eventually I have to wash the dishes. But the dishes like stress me out. They make my back hurt. They make my lower back hurt. They make my legs hurt. They make this and this and this and that. Thinking all these thoughts and identifying with these thoughts brought upon this reality that I did not want to manifest into fruition. Literally just imagining the future, even if it was 20 minutes from now. Like, I'm at the house right now and I'm thinking about gonna go get gasoline. And I find myself feeling this dread that comes with just thinking about being in traffic, thinking about dealing with other people driving around me, and the hustle and the loud sounds, and having to socialize with somebody at the gas station to be able to pay for gas so I can get gas for my car. Just things like that. For example, even if, let's say, like 30 minutes from now, I'm gonna go to the gym or something like that, and I'm just overly imagining it in my head, thinking about how that's gonna feel like, as if I'm already there right now, but I'm not. I'm at the house. I'm still at the house, and that is what exists right now. And then, with the overthinking, I start to give myself anxiety. I start to give myself dread. I start giving myself, like my body literally starts to feel the exhaustion of having to socialize with somebody, having to be around other people, having to move my body and work on this like if it's a chore and not a choice. Once I realized that, and once I became aware of that I was literally manifesting my future in the present moment, I had to completely go within and tell myself, hey, like, we don't have to do this. We shouldn't look at the future as if it's gonna bring pain, as if it's already bringing pain, as if it's already bringing us the suffering, as if it's already making us stress and making us tired. Even, like, for example, when we go to work every day. we tend to have a hard time getting out of bed because we don't want to go to work because of all the pain that comes with it. And though I do encourage you to not work a job that you hate, what has worked for me, because I do still work, or I have a different stream of income that I do every day physically. Well, not every day. I do it a couple times a week, right? But I still have to go do this thing to make money, to attract money, to be able to pay my rent and pay my bills. I mean, we live in the capitalist society. What we gonna do, right? And so I had found myself doing this activity that brings me money, and I have found myself dreading it and absolutely procrastinating. Like I can't even move. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't even move my body. I didn't want to get out of bed whatsoever. And I just kept pushing and pushing and like I kept taking my sweet time, brushing my teeth, kept taking my sweet time, cooking, making a meal, eating, watching the screen time, doing a little studying here and there, and then I had to go. I had to go. But by the time I was, you know, doing my job, I was, sick of it. And I just thought to myself, like, damn, I really don't want my life to be like this. I really don't want to dread my job because this is what I need to do right now until I can make something else work. So what can I do? What can I do to change my perspective, change the way I look at it so that it's not so heavy and it's not so exhausting to go through? When I got that download after reading that book, I'm telling you, bro, like it changed the game for me. Now I have been able to get up every day in the morning, and sometimes I immediately start studying. I love studying. I've been studying the Bible recently, so that's what I've been getting into. And so I wake up and I study, or I write a script, I write an essay. I've been working on an essay, and then I do my yoga because I do love to first one of the first things that I love to do when I rise is I love to tune in with my own body. I love to tune in with myself, and connecting with your body is the most grounding thing you can do at the start of your day, because then it makes it easier for everything else to it makes everything else feel easy. And then after that I have been going to the gym, and I don't really exhaust myself too much at the gym because I'm only just starting out, but I did want to start like really implementing that into my life because my body has started to show me symptoms of the lack of mobility in my body. Like I start to randomly have aches with my back, aches on my knees, aches on my legs, and things like that, to the point where I just can't sit for long periods of time anymore. I have developed a plo- a pilonidal cyst, pilonidal, pilonidal cyst on my lower back because of my lack of mobility. Those kinds of things also stop you from procrastinating because now it's becoming real. Like you've ignored the problem long enough that it's just no longer an option. But how do you enjoy it? And how do you stay in the present moment? How do you keep embodying it without dreading it and making it feel like punishment or making it feel like a chore? You start to look at things in the now, and you start living more in the present moment rather than worrying about the future or even the past. I have been learning a lot about meditation recently, and being in the present moment is, in a way, meditation because you're practicing stillness and you're practicing being empty in the moment and being okay with being in the nothing. Basically, being okay with just being there in whatever activity you're choosing to do, whether it's cooking, whether it's being at the gym. I know it's very hard for our brains to stay still in those moments. We want to pull out the phone, we want to look at YouTube, we want to listen to music and distract ourselves and make the time go by faster. But by doing this, we create the procrastination in the future because we do not want to deal with actual life. We don't want to deal with what's real. And what's real is that life is boring sometimes and life can be empty sometimes. And you might wonder, well, when is the next thing? When is my life going to take off? When is this new opportunity going to come in for me? The thing is, bro, you cannot be worrying about that stuff because it doesn't matter. When is it going to come? You just have to know that it's coming. And while it's making its way to you, all you can do is be here right now. Be here with your loved ones. Be here with yourself. Be here with your passion project, with your reading a book or working. Be here right now. And I'm telling you, bro, once I started to just, even though I am doing similar things every day, like for example, I'm doing my best to do yoga every day. Some days, there's a few days in the week where I won't do yoga, but that's because maybe something else got in the way. But that is okay. I have actually made peace with that because every day is going to look different. But when I get up, I do my yoga and I'm present in my breath. I connect with my breath and I connect with my body and I'm relaxing. I forget about all those thoughts that bring me anxiety, that bring me doubt, that bring me the worry, and I just focus on how good it feels to stretch my body and to practice yoga. And then once it's time to move on from yoga, then I think, okay, what's next? Well, yes, I would like to plan my day, for example, and I write it down. I write it down in my calendar, I write it down in my notebook, and then, I go break my fast, and I'm present in that moment. Whereas if you're actively thinking about the future and you're identifying with those thoughts that come in, because those thoughts might come in no matter what, but it's how you handle them that really changes the game. Because if you look at this thought that is telling you, hey, in 3 hours from now, you have to go clock in, you have to go get in the car and go out into the street. How is that going to look like? How is that going to feel? You know, what is that going to come out? Am I going to make the money that I want to make? Am I going to go out and accomplish the goals that I have going on? Shh. Shh. Doesn't matter because that's not real. It's not real right now. That doesn't exist right now. For all I know, something could come up and I don't even have to go clock in no more. But we know we are going to clock in. We don't have to think about it right now. We don't have to worry about that right now. Right now, I'm making this bomb smoothie full of fruit and Greek yogurt and honey, and I'm gonna enjoy it with my piece of toast with eggs on it and avocado on it, and I'm gonna watch my favorite show, or I'm just gonna sit in silence, or I'm gonna study for a little bit. And you start to actually feel yourself be filled with calm, just relaxing. Okay, sounds good. All I need to do is do this right now. I don't have to worry about the exhaustion I'm gonna feel at work, and I don't have to worry about whatever I gotta deal with because I don't even know what's actually gonna happen. My mind is just making up these stories and trying to tell me these stories, and fill me up with illusions for no reason. Just because that's what we're used to doing with our ego, with our false self. We're used to concerning ourselves with the future and the past. But practicing the discipline of being aware and conscious of your thought and then choosing to ignore that thought and choosing to stay in the present moment completely ceases your procrastination because you're no longer worrying about it. You're no longer concerning with yourself with any of that energy. You're here right now and you don't have to accomplish anything. You don't have to go succeed in anything. You don't have to be anywhere or be anything. When it's time to go somewhere, we will go. But don't get ahead of yourself up here. You don't have to do that. You can just relax and bring yourself back into your present moment. I have been practicing this for a while, for a little while now. And even though there are still some days that are exhausting, at least now I know I can deal with them. Now I know that by fully rooting myself in the present moment, I can conquer and get through anything that life throws at me. And because I live my life day to day, I'm not worried about what's going to happen a year from now or a couple months from now, or I'm not even concerned about what tomorrow's going to look like or what I'm going to have to do tomorrow or not. I just think about this moment in my day, in the things that I want to get accomplished today, and I just do it. Don't put so much thought into it. That is what is holding you back. Is when you start to overthink it. Oh, what if this hurts? What if this brings me pain or discomfort or stress? What if this brings me anxiety? What if I'm very tired after this? And then obviously you're not going to want to do that because why are you selling it to yourself like that? You know, you're not going to want to do that anymore. Even if it's good for you. Even if going to the gym and exercising and moving your body is good for you and and even if once you're there and you're actually doing it, you probably feel so good and so grounded in yourself and so in tune with your body and you feel like you're taking care of yourself, you're not going to do it because you sold yourself this story, this idea that is going to be fucking exhausting. You end up almost paralyzed by this worry and concern about the future exhaustion that you just end up just what, staying in bed, scrolling, or watching Netflix or YouTube, and you just end up staying in bed. And then you get up and you smoke because what's even the point? You know? That's what I used to do, for real. For real, this is me speaking through experience. It used to be such a heavy thing for me to think about. Oh, I gotta go to the gym later. I gotta go to school later. I gotta go to work later. And instead of thinking of how that's actually bringing me closer to my goals, instead of selling myself this positive story about these things that I really want to do, because it grants me the freedom, it grants me the healthy life that I want, it grants me the the future that I want, you know? I will sell myself this story and I just dreaded it and it would burn me out. But the crazy thing is that the burnout is an illusion because you're convincing yourself mentally that you are burned out and you're exhausted and this is too much and this and that. This feels like a chore. This feels like punishment. I don't want to do this. Oh, you don't? I thought you did. I thought you wanted a better life for yourself. I thought you wanted more discipline in your life. But how can you balance that out, right? Just stay right here, right now, man. Don't concern yourself. Have no thought over the future exhaustion that you're gonna experience. It doesn't exist. Your ego is trying to make you believe that it does, but it does not. Procrastination has a lot to do with the mind and about the mindset that you have towards it and the mindset that you have towards your real life and what you're willing to sacrifice versus what you're not willing to sacrifice, what you're willing to let go of, and how willing you actually are to show up for yourself. It all has to do with the thoughts that you carry about your present moment and about your future. Because as above, so below, baby. Whatever you curate up here in your mind, whatever stories you tell yourself up here, if and when you really identify with them and you really believe in them, that will manifest itself into your reality, into your present moment, and into the future. Because you're living as if you are in the future already. Therefore, it will happen. It will come to fruition. And if you want to change that, you have to change your inner dialogue first. The inner dialogue you have with yourself. And that is the lesson of the day.